I know what you're talking about. The one in space. There's actually, I've done research on this at one point. The one in space, there are actually 3 Voltrons, first of all.
Okay.
But the one in space you're talking about, that's the one where they had like 20 different little vehicles that came together and formed Voltron.
Okay.
It wasn't
There wasn't, yeah.
And it wasn't, it wasn't the Lions.
Right, it was something different.
It was a different looking robot, but it was the same concept that the teams came together and...
Was it Voltron?
It was Voltron, though. And then there was another...
There were cars or something at one point.
And they would form
It's just-
Voltron.
nothing is more useful in space than a car.
Space cars!
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your weekly podcast delivering a minute-by-minute breakdown of the 1986 Transformers movie. Today is episode 27, covering 2601 to the 27-minute mark. I'm your host, Aaron, and I'm going to pass the Matrix to my leadership-worthy co-hosts here.
But I'm not worthy. I'm also Ryan.
Very good.
I'm worthy. I'll take that Matrix.
Give me that shit.
You're Hot Rod for sure, then.
I'm Caleb.
So, last episode, the Matrix has been passed to Ultra Magnus, but not without some heavy foreshadowing on the importance of Hot Rod to the story. Don't know what that means. Don't know how that's going to play out.
Hey, will that come back? Who can say?
I don't know. We'll see. But as of right now, the scene ended on a screen displaying Prime's vitals, and as we're watching those vitals, they come to a flatline moment, and the music shifts. As the Matrix is being passed, there was kind of a musical tone of wonderment and mysticality and awe, and now it's kind of gone back to like severe, like critical, something bad's about to happen.
Yeah, it's sad. And this is
sadness.
right off the bat. Whenever we start, you're like 2604 is where Cup and you see Cup come up with Arcee and Hot Rod. He looks sad. Arcee puts her hand over her mouth. Hot Rod stands there with that dumb look on his stupid face, and then Prime's eyes flicker.
Yeah, and look how you were commenting on earlier about how they animated his face here, but it's got so much. It's real static looking, but it's got like a lot of gravity to it. Mm-hmm. Like it's.
And it's all about that eye flicker. I mean, first of all, the illustration is great. This is probably one of the best illustrations in the movie.
Yeah, 2606.
It's a close-up, so they have the capability to do something this detailed. But I mean, it just looks awesome, and the flickering eyes are.
You can
just
see the
haunting.
weight. It's like you can see the weight of him there, and like statuesque. Mm-hmm. I guess lifeless would be a good word.
On the verge of it. Yeah. On the verge of lifelessness. So we see Prime's life essence essentially flickering in and out until ultimately his eyes just kind of dim out. Mm-hmm. Everybody recognizes that this is a pretty strong moment, and everybody kind of closes in on his body. And it's kind of an overhead shot of the body. You see the group closing in on Prime. Prime is basically dead at this point, but just to drive that point home, it's the really ominous symphonic music, dun 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 dun, and as that's going on, he turns gray.
Yeah, and Nelson Shin said that he did that to signify that his life force has left his body. And I'm like, no fucking shit. I mean, we got it. Like, goddamn.
I know.
Dude, why not just have him crumble into dust?
God, would that have been even more horrifying? It just drops into a pile of metallic, rusty dust, like he's been cremated or something like that.
Oh.
So this actually establishes sort of a trope in the Transformers world in that they turn gray when they die. That actually happens in a few other episodes in season 3.
Does it? I don't remember that.
And it happens in the Headmaster stuff that went on after the American version of the series. Yeah, so at this point, like, it just became an artistic convention, but they just picked and chose on. I mean,
Right.
You didn't see, like, earlier we saw
Lots of dead bodies.
Wheeljack and what's his name, Windcharger. They weren't gray. However, when Prowl got killed, he kind of turned gray as
He was already
dying.
pretty monochrome.
He is, to be fair, he is. But I think there was a change in saturation a little bit as he fell down. But there in the Headmaster series, the thing that I recall is that there's first of all, Prime dies again in that. He's going to Vector Sigma to get some shit done, keep Cybertron from exploding.
He dies a lot.
That's like that just becomes his thing.
Yeah.
But and he dies again, but it has way less the impact of this scene. It's almost like he dies, just turns gray, and we're like, okay, we all move on.
Well, also because at that point it's established, he's going to come back. It's kind of like when anybody dies in comics, they're going to come back somehow.
Right. Well, he does. I don't think he does. I think that was the last time he came back and died in the G1 continuity. But also when Blaster and Soundwave had a fight in that same series, they kill each other, and they both turn gray, but anyway, it still became a pick and choose thing, but it established a new sort of trope.
It doesn't make any sense.
I guess it doesn't, but it does at the same time. I mean, I think it's just a visual way of saying this is final, even though we all know it's not really final.
I understand that, but also, like, it doesn't, like, in reality make any sense. Like, there's no reason that metal would change color,
right? But
if it's not oxidized.
Sure, but it's. I know you don't have to get the point across, but they decided to.
I know it's an artistic choice. I just think it's a bit much. It's like a little extra. You're doing a lot here.
Well, maybe it's the difference between it's like what's that movie? The Princess Bride. He's like Ultra Magnus later gets murdered pretty hard by the Decepticons, but his body parts never turn gray. So maybe it's just a way of saying he's only mostly dead, but still partially alive.
Well, this was a very significant death, so I think they decided just to treat it special.
They gave it a certain magnitude. I don't mind it. It hurt. I think it makes it more harsh.
Well, I think it's plenty harsh for in the next bit where what is it? 2621.
Okay, well, so to continue on the harshness, Prime's head just
flops
lifelessly falls to the side.
Like, you could I mean, it's just, again, another nail in that goddamn coffin of, like, and the way they animated it, it's like perfectly animated to, like, be floppy, like, it doesn't look like a natural movement. To me, it looks just loose and gross.
Right. No, they did a great job.
Yeah,
but I think
they did a great job.
At the end of the day, artistically, I support the graying out decision because when you're talking about the bold colors of Prime, there's so much life in like red and blue. So I get like taking out like the saturation to because we all being grayed out or being whitish is kind of that's a symbol of deathliness or oldness or decrepitude.
Yeah, I think what I am this is real armchair quarterbacking here. I think if I were to design this, I would not make it so obvious. I think I would just throughout the scene desaturate him to the point where he's still colored, but he gets less and he gets grayer and grayer and grayer.
Sure,
not all at once.
Right.
Well, I've talked in the earlier episodes.
Interesting.
I'm a good director. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. What I've talked about in earlier episodes, what I would do to convey his death. Shitting the bed.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That old chestnut.
How about transforming into a coffin?
Yep.
That's also gold.
God, but yeah, that head is so jarring. That head
just more sobbing fuel for the kids.
Yeah, and if you weren't already crying by this point, let's just show an
actual crying child.
And so, we close out on Daniel kind of just dropping his head on Prime's lifeless body.
His hand.
His hands. Crying.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
Hand.
It's a massive hand.
Shot.
Yeah.
Great
and
shot.
it's a great drawing of that hand.
Yeah, it is. It is. So then we fade out and we fade back in on somebody we haven't seen in a little while.
Yeah, the first reappearance of Unicron.
And Unicron shows up. We are zooming in as his maw opens up. And we're seeing some internal workings. I don't recall. Did we see sort of what I assume to be his brain epicenter earlier?
I feel like we've seen it before. Yeah, maybe. I don't remember for sure, but
I don't know that we have. I feel like we saw Lethone from inside of Unicron, but it was kind of from inside the mouth hole area or on the other side of the mouth. But I could be wrong about that. But at any rate, I think we get that this is probably a brain center or something.
Neural net.
And for some reason, there's about I counted them, 16 monitors on an orb to indicate what he's seeing. And what he's seeing is the Matrix being passed. We see Prime extending the Matrix, dropping it, Hot Rod recovering it, passing it to Ultra Magnus, and then his maw is open and he yells in anger.
Yeah, and Caleb, you brought this up before we were on, Mike, about how is Unicron seeing this? Like, it's the thing in all kids' cartoons where satellite imagery appears to be ubiquitous. Like, you can see whatever you want, whenever you want.
Sure. And I think also, we're just accepting that Unicron has a certain level of omniscience.
Sure.
And I think also that
omniscience tied to that probably as well, maybe.
That's a good point.
Pointing at the Matrix.
Yeah, I think that's actually probably more relevant.
Well,
that's connected to the Matrix, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say, and this is also, I mean, it's kind of retconning because we haven't really, they don't discuss the mythology of the Matrix in this, but as we talk about last episode, Unicron and Primus are tied together, and Primus, the Matrix is kind of the material either gateway or knowledge center of Primus, and so maybe with that connection he's able to sense what is happening to the Matrix, and this is the visual representation of that.
There's a disturbance in the Force.
That's right, and Unicron's the yin to Primus's yang kind of thing.
I will say real quick. Having all of these monitors on an orb, which you can attribute to being his central processing. That's another way of displaying omniscience. I mean,
sure.
He sees a lot of things.
There could be a lot of things going on. There could be multiple things going on in each of those monitors.
Yeah,
but all of those monitors right now are focused on this.
I would love it if one of them was like ESPN. Just up in the left corner. The Rochambeau competition.
Who is Unicron's favorite sports team? Who is he following?
The Redskins, because it's racist.
How about I'm trying to think if there's any. The Vikings, because he likes the helmet.
Oh, the horns.
What's the station that you can watch total continual feed of Senate proceedings and is it
C-SPAN?
C-SPAN.
He's just watching C-SPAN all the time.
He's like, goddamn American government. Can't get it straight.
Get it together, America.
One thing, the joke I was going to make is that maybe he's tapped into the same cameras that Laserbeak is tapped into. It's the movie cameras.
He's tapped into the cameras used to film this movie.
Breaking
the
wall.
Animated. The sequence that they animate here in these screens is a little different than.
Yeah,
it's not like
different.
It was reanimated for the screen.
Yeah, they went through a lot of trouble. They had to
reanimate.
They had to reanimate that multiple times
from multiple angles. I'm assuming maybe they could manipulate it. I don't know.
I think they just manipulated it.
I disagree. I mean, if you look,
because we're looking at 2645, and with the different monitors, they're curved, so the images are distorted. I think you can do that without. I think you can do that from one image.
Look at the angles, though. Look at the angles.
That's true.
Here's a good tell. Look at the this blue section on
That's
Ultra
what I'm
Magnus.
saying. That gives it
I
away.
think that they actually had.
That's a little bit. That's a little bit from the
They
right.
had to go to the trouble to.
They're all a little bit.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, they are all different. Wow, you're right.
So they had to go to the trouble of
which is why maybe this is to make it pop also, but in the some of the former images, it's just a yellow background behind Hot Rod.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I feel like maybe the screen's even repopulated a slightly different rate. Let me see here.
Nice twinkling
Oh, no,
effect.
it all goes. It's all about the same rate. But even that is slightly different angles. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's certainly there's a couple different drawings going on in each of those.
So Unicron's mad because now he's
not happy
because Why?
Because the Matrix
We don't
still...
know. It's not.
we don't know.
It's not articulated blatantly yet, but we get a sense that he doesn't like what's going on.
Yeah,
here.
sure.
Before we go on, I want to turn the sound back on, and I want you guys to just listen very closely to the kind of the background noise in this scene.
Aaron's got something.
It's not much, but it's interesting all the same. So
All right. Listen as hard as you fucking can.
So as that scene is playing, you hear that yell, very muffled. So the yell that Unicron does at the end of the Matrix passing scene in his brain is they play it twice, and then in between each of those very faint yells is a weird, almost video gamey, like
a twinkle,
like the sound it makes when you pick up an item or something. like
and I've heard that sound effect on cartoons before, but
But I don't know why it's there. First of all, are we to think, like, did they put that in there as just texture? Is it just supposed to be texture? Is it not something supposed to be picked up? Or are we to believe that while Unicron's watching this, it's just muffled because we're inside Unicron, but he's yelled 3 times essentially, but it's muffled inside of him. But then what is that goofy noise? Why did they put that in there? That didn't make any sense at all. I tried to see if it was connected to the Matrix passing animation, and it's not really. It's really just sort of a break in between his 2 muffled that he does. Anyway,
that is weird.
I don't know. I have any explanation for it, but it was. Just
I can't believe you noticed that.
It was just parsing it. Headphones, man.
Yeah,
headphones.
It's something I wouldn't have picked up on it if I didn't have headphones on.
Okay, so we fade out from Unicron and fade into Astro Train, flying very
like an asshole.
It's very awkward looking. It's not animated with a level of smoothness that we might be accustomed to. But
I have some things to say about this.
Excellent.
I'm not breaking any new ground. Everybody just talked about this who has problems with this.
And we got to cover it, or we're gonna look ignorant. But he requests to jettison some weight, or I'll never make it to Cybertron. And Starscream appears to agree with the idea, and that is where this minute ends from the movie standpoint.
So
I wonder what they'll do.
We'll see. But the thing, okay. Here's my physics nerd problems. And again, this is well-worn territory, but there's no such thing as weight in microgravity, really. He should have said jettison some mass. But also, you see that his thrusters are firing, so he's under acceleration. Why? Do they have to get to Cybertron that quickly? Once you've escaped the gravity well of Earth, you don't need to burn fuel unless you want to get there really. You're going to keep accelerating if you're burning fuel. So presumably they're having to get there really quickly. Why? Question mark, because it's clearly not to help their comrades.
Right.
It's coming up. So I guess that he's asking to dump mass so that they can conserve fuel. It's just very confusing.
I have another issue that I didn't really go into that level of scientific detail, but my point is, can't the Decepticons just fly through space on their own?
And I think
didn't they do that when they attacked the Autobot shuttle?
They did, but I think that was, and we covered this a little bit actually in a former episode. I think that was because it was closer to Cybertron. And I don't think these guys who are inside Astro Train have enough fuel themselves for long range flight.
So we assume that Astro Train can get a level of speed in space that the other guys can't, except that the other guys are like jet planes. I would think they could go faster than Astro Train could. All Astro Train needs to do is build up enough velocity to
that checks out,
to escape the pull of Earth's gravity or Cybertron's gravity or whatever. Other than that, he doesn't have to be fast. The jets, their job is to be fast. The jets that are doing all right should just jump off of him.
They should get out and push.
Well, that's also a good point.
And then let the dead guys be in there.
Because if those who can fly got out, they wouldn't have to even burn their own fuel. They'd just continue at the current speed.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Do you think? And I don't know would it behoove him? Would it help him if he transformed into a train?
I would love to see that just through space.
Space tracks.
Space train. I'm going to make that a t-shirt. But then there's also the problem of he's burning all this fuel and continuing to accelerate towards Cybertron. You have to accelerate in the opposite direction to slow down enough to re-enter Cybertron's orbit.
Right. He needs to save fuel for that.
I guess, but then it's very confusing as to what's happening. But I mean, unless Cybertron doesn't have an atmosphere, you can come in as hot as you want.
It would almost appear as if the writers are trying to set up something that's going to happen. Like they're trying to establish some sort of premise for something critical coming up in a movie.
They're right, and it also would appear the writers are not physicists. And it would also appear that they're writing stories for kids who don't know that much about physics or philosophy.
I know the reason is because movie, but this is stuff that, like, and whenever I read fiction and stuff, I'm like, of course you can't get everything right, and something's going to bug somebody. I don't really care that much about this. As an adult, it's just like, that's weird.
I'd like to see
it gives
Star
us
Wars.
something to talk about.
That's right. It generate content, motherfuckers.
Can you imagine watching the Star Wars movies during the battles in space and there's no sound?
That is one thing that, well, I can. Well, not the battles, but that's one thing they did in Firefly. There's absolutely no sound in space, and I think it works.
Well, it does in that.
And it would not work in Star Wars or Star Trek.
You have to build around it. You have to make, if you make that conscious decision that I'm doing it right, or what I think is right, no noise in space. You have to build the show around that to make it entertaining. If you just took the sound out of Star Wars, you'd be like, what the fuck?
And I can. That's a conceit. I don't care. That doesn't bug me. I mean, that's what that movie would have been. These movies would be terrible without that. So I can you get gimmies, and this is a gimme, and I don't really care that much about it. I just wanted to bring it up again.
Sure, I never thought about it that way before. I just thought, why don't they get outside and
push?
But I've never heard that angle before. A lot of people talk about the science angle. That it really shouldn't have mattered. You shouldn't have needed to drop any weight because everything in space is weightless. But the whole angle around, like, why didn't those guys just get out and fly is one I've never heard. So that might be original, Caleb.
I can't believe that no one else has thought of that.
I mean, maybe I'll scour the internet.
I must be surrounded by idiots.
Starting a flame war with the Transformers community.
So that's the end of this minute, really. There are no voice actors, but I do have, I guess, more extensive notes than I thought I did. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Vince DiCola. Just because I thought that this piece of music that we just covered in the last 2 minutes, like that prime death scene, and that's just amazing transitions.
Both,
I thought
like
they were
the
great.
Matrix music
the
and
Matrix
the transition
and the death music. And so just to talk about him a little bit, I think we talked about him a little bit in the credit sequence, but his story is, at least as it relates to this movie, he was asked to audition for this movie on the strength of Rocky IV. So the producers saw Rocky IV, and they were like, this could be a fit. As part of that audition, he created an audition piece that had about 6 minutes of music, and it kind of had different sort of movements in it. And one movement was called, the audition piece itself was called Legacy. And it had a good guy theme, a bad guy theme, a chase scene, and a victory scene. And ultimately, the producers loved it, and they hired him, sight unseen. That's a dumb way to put it. They hired him.
Instead of sight unseen, it would be
voice unheard,
ear unheard,
audio unheard.
Although they
except it was heard.
It.
Listen, doesn't make sense at all. The producers heard it, loved it, hired him. That music, none of that music was actually used, but it got him the job, right? And so I listened to a really great interview with him on YouTube about it. He goes into a lot of detail, but he was given he loved the project. He was given a lot of creative freedom. One of the things that was unique about the process is that he wrote to storyboards. So most time with film composers, I think they have essentially the finished edited movie,
or like a rough cut at least,
or a rough cut of the movie to compose to. And so he's composing to storyboards, and that was he cites that as one of the difficult
that's awesome
parts
that
of
would
the
be
experience.
Very hard.
Yeah,
you'd have to kind of
you just have to understand the emotionality of that scene,
but also the time, like also the timing of the length of a theme emotionally between shots. So he could write to a storyboard, but I don't know how he figured out how long a composition needs to go before it segues into a different
I'm
section.
sure they would roughly give him the amount of time. And I would assume that with an animated feature more so than a traditional film, there's probably not a lot of animated parts on the cutting room floor because of the expense involved in animating versus just shooting everything you want and then taking stuff out. But at any rate, he created a process and got a feel for it and moved on. And since then, he's seen the movie, obviously probably several times, and he stated there are things he would do to change the music to fit the video, to your point. Like if he'd have had the video, there's things he would have tweaked to emphasize certain moments or whatever. Sure. But in general, he's very pleased with he actually looks at it as one of his best works and is very pleased with the fan response to the music.
Yeah, that's great.
But, additionally with the process, he met with the director, Nelson Shin. They talked about the tone of the movie, different ideas, and then they basically left it to him to just do whatever. And, he kind of makes some sketches of the movie. He has a bare bones soundtrack, and if the people like it, then he lays on the orchestration. He said one of the other challenges for this is that timing-wise, he didn't have as much time as I assume typically do with a feature film. I don't know how much time he had, but it was compressed. And in addition to a compressed timeline, there was a lot of music. There's 75 minutes of music in this.
It's pretty wall-to-wall.
Right, and that's 75 minutes outside of the kind of the rock music like that they incorporated into it. But anyway, despite all of his limitations, he was pleased with the results. He is a guy that loves synthesizer-based composition, and rather than being influenced by, are you familiar, Caleb, with, I'm going to fuck up this pronunciation, Giorgio Moroder? Moroder. Yeah, that's easy. It's just like it says.
Giorgio Moroder. He got famous for doing the sequencing for the Donna Summer song, I Feel Love.
Oh.
It's like...
Oh, that is an iconic.
That's him, as well as a few other things. And he recently did some work on the most recent Daft Punk album.
That's right.
There's actually a small clip of him essentially being interviewed about him developing sequencing and as it was related to dance music.
Right.
Disco.
So he's essentially the godfather of electronic dance music and one of them and synthesizer. But his style, to your point in the story, is more applied to kind of the dance side of it, right? Like the disco side and ultimately probably what we know of as electronic dance music, Daft Punk and all that.
He's Italian.
And he's definitely an influence to... he's French, I believe.
Okay.
Giorgio Moroder. That sounds more Italian. Jesus Christ.
Genealogy to be determined.
There's a band out there called Giorgio Murderer.
Are they good?
Yeah, they're all right, but I don't know how I don't think they're really playing music like him. They're just playing with the word.
I will take a synth poppy moog fucking score any day of the week, anytime you like it.
I like it too.
So yeah, it's
he's influenced by him. But I was sorry, it's a long tail on this kite. So that is an influence for sure. But he's also majorly influenced by prog rock and like Emerson, Lake and Palmer specifically. Specifically Keith Emerson as a keyboard player, and so that he takes that element of sort of progginess into this. And I would have to say Vangelis would have to be an inspiration. Blade Runner's older, is a 70s movie, right?
Very late 70s, very early 80s actually. It's right on the cusp. So I think I would consider them contemporaries.
Sure, right. But anyway, he was flying by the seat of his pants. He had no sense in the moment of how proud he would be of the end product. It was a short timeline, but he's happy with the
I love it when
results.
these guys are really the fact that fans are so into it and proud of their work in the movie, because there are lots of people who have lots of love for this, and it's just really cool when the creators are into it also.
Right. I think the other thing it's like when you look at work you did in the past and you see work that is cringy, but every now and again you find something that's a gem, and I think that's how it is for him.
I wonder what that's like.
He had no idea that this would be a gem. In the moment, it was sort of a job. I mean, he didn't know much about Transformers, and he didn't have much time to get it together. So he was questionable in the moment of how good it was going to be. But, when he looks at it in retrospect, he's actually proud
I guess
of it.
that's how I feel about that fingering joke in episode 2. I don't know if I'll ever make another one that's that good. It's unfortunate I peaked so early.
Well, we'll look back on it and we'll enjoy it. And
Yeah.
You should read up more on Giorgio Moroder, by the way. He's involved with stuff that you didn't really realize. Like he's been sampled by Outkast, MF Doom. And then on the opposite end, he had an early composition that was featured for many years during silent sketch sequences on the Benny Hill show.
Good.
So it's
what?
Well, he's an older dude.
I guess so.
He's in his 70s.
Benny Hill.
And he is Italian, by the way.
Okay. Gotcha.
Everyone who remembers that is dead.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I became aware of him because of the Daft Punk album, but
Yeah.
I didn't dive too much in his history.
Well, his big one is the Donna Summer, I Feel Love.
Right.
That
Alright.
really shot him to popularity.
Gotcha. He's still, from what I understand on his on the Wikipedia on him, he still travels and DJs. Like he's like
That's
a
cool.
working DJ. Oh, well, that would be so awesome to go to like a Giorgio Moroder.
We should hire
show.
him. We should hire him for our last
Episode
party. Actually, that would be
The rap party?
We should get
Vince
Vince
DiCola.
DiCola.
Yeah.
Also Vince DiCola, I didn't realize this. He co-wrote Dare. He
Really?
Yeah, he like Stan Bush didn't actually write that song. He co-wrote it with another guy. I'm blanking out on who that was, but if you were to Google it on YouTube, there's a live performance of Dare at BotCon 2016 that and Stan Bush and Vince DiCola are performing together along with some other
Oh my god!
guys.
I bet there was Transformers fans just having orgasms.
blowing their loads all over the stage.
Dare to clean my underwear.
yeah.
So it's weird.
Yep, it sure was.
So that's all I've got on that. So with that, I think it's time for
Deviations.
Great. That was great. I'm glad we did this.
I want to interject real quick. I've been trying to lose a little weight, and I have switched to drinking Diet Vince DiCola.
God damn it. That's a pretty good pun.
very
It's
good.
better than the caffeine-free.
How long have
Diet
you been
Vince
holding on to
DiCola.
that?
For about 5 minutes.
All right.
I'm glad you got it in there.
Yeah.
Well, I had to at some
Slipped it
point.
right in there in no way that was convenient.
Nope. All right.
That'll be a good edit.
Back to the script.
Okay. Prime, or what do you got, Jet?
I don't have a huge amount in this one. It's basically just a different. There is actually a scene that takes place after Prime's death that I am glad they removed because it doesn't really seem to fit. Basically, whenever they pan for the grief reactions after Prime dies, Ultra Magnus steps forward and clears his throat, and he says, "I was never one for fancy speeches, but I think you all know how I feel. But the time for feeling is past." That's a weird one.
it's
But the
the-
time for feeling is past. The time for action is upon us. And Cup says, "Here, here, we're with you, Ultra Magnus." And then there's shouts of agreement, presumably still over Prime's dead fucking corpse. And then Ultra Magnus says, "We must pursue the remainder of the Decepticon forces and root them out before a new leader is selected to replace Megatron." This is all good cut.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Perceptor, "A sound strategy which I heartily endorse since it brooks no tendencies to appeasement." And Ultra Magnus,
I guess that it's basically to establish that people like Ultra Magnus are
I mean,
okay
I think,
with
I
this.
guess. I feel like we already got that.
I think it was the writer like.
Oh, again, this
Sure.
is a first draft, so you include everything and then you cut.
It's like the awkward toast at a wedding.
And then Ultra Magnus doesn't get it. He says, "What?" And Springer says, who has just appeared into the scene apparently, he says he's with you. And then Perceptor, "Well, I suppose you could put it that way."
And then just driving home that Perceptor's a dorko.
Yeah, he's a real
And
nerd.
Ultra Magnus is like a jock.
Spring, I don't know. That's yeah. And then Ultra Magnus gestures to the ruins of Autobot City. "We cannot leave until this city and the citizens of Earth have been fortified to resist another Decepticon assault. We must rebuild and rearm, and we must do
Who's
it quickly."
got time for that?
It's a lot of work.
I mean, that's months of
And as we'll see later on in the scene, they're doing just that,
Yeah.
and they get attacked again.
Well, that's the thing is like, if I can show, don't tell. They just start doing
Have
that.
they forgot about their strategy to invade Cybertron?
Yeah.
Do they forget about that in the movie?
I mean, I guess so, yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, no, I mean, it changes because now it's about defense and rebuilding, and then there is a scene here that we again don't need, but it's more Arcee and Hot Rod stuff.
But the Decepticons are weak right now.
Yeah, you should
Fuck the
100%.
rebuilding. They're retreating. Go get them and kill them.
100% you should go after them right now. Like right now, where they're leaderless, they're on the run, they're still in space, but...
Now imagine if they'd have done that, they would have probably run into Unicron, all would have been slaughtered, and in hindsight it probably wouldn't have worked, but that's strategically the right decision.
Militaristically, yeah. And again, we
can't account for Unicron just hanging out.
Yeah, and again, we keep coming back to trying to end the movie in every scene. But everybody runs away to do their stuff. With a roar of approval, several Autobots transform and start rolling out, moving rubble and dead Decepticon warriors aside, hauling out ruined shuttles and stores of weaponry, etc. We move to Cup, Hot Rod, Arcee, and Daniel. Hot Rod is still hanging his head. He says, Optimus Prime would still be leading us if I hadn't been so dumb. And Cup bellows, "You can't mourn him back to existence, lad! Now pick up your diodes and get to work!"
I love how your Cup is Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
All right, you son of a bitch, you get back in there! Ah.
He's Popeye's father.
That's right. And then we have... okay, and then Arcee says gently to Hot Rod, "I thought what you did was the bravest thing I ever saw." And Hot Rod takes a beat, looks up shyly. You did? Arcee teasing him, but with a smile.
Oh, God.
Of course. I'm only a she-bot, so I could be mistaken. Holy fucking shit. I underlined that because I'm
Wait a
like,
minute.
oh no.
So she just says to her, "I'm only a she-bot, so I could be mistaken."
Yeah. And it's supposed to, I guess, be like teasing, like self-deprecating, but it's just straight up sexist.
Yeah, that's bad.
So,
yeah, she...
And
modern
they-
Arcee in the IDW comics, I think, is an iconic sort of feminist character.
yeah.
I would hope so.
And this version of Arcee
oh, it's not
is-
good. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
I know my place,
Yeah,
Hot Rod.
You got Springer grabbing her by the wrist and leading her around.
Everybody's rebuilding the city. She's like making muffins.
She's got an apron.
That's right.
Are they, at this point, are they still standing around
Yes!
Prime's dead
They're
body?
still in the same room with Prime's dead body, which is fucking weird.
There's some flirtatious...
Yeah,
fucker,
and he's like, "Oh,
we gonna fuck,
that's
Arcee."
right. I'm gonna put my piston in your fucking
What does the piston go
Your
into?
drive
your fuel
shaft.
hole." I don't know.
Anyway,
Anyway,
exhaust.
moving. And then Cup slaps Hot Rod on the back and again bellowing, "Are you just gonna hang about like a Dracilian proto-pig, or are you gonna move?"
I'm so glad they cut all this shit out.
Then Hot Rod says, "I'm moving, so stop hollering." And Daniel, "Wait for me, guys." And they transform and roll out. Daniel tries to run after them, but immediately starts lagging. Springer moves up behind him, shakes his head, and scoops him up. Springer does a lot in this script of taking care of Daniel. If Arcee's not doing it, Springer seems to be doing it begrudgingly.
Right, they like totally abandon him.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. And then Springer's like, "Okay, Squirt, just don't get in the way." His transformation complete, Springer now rides off with Daniel riding inside as we watch the other Autobots setting about to rebuild the city. And that's where we switch to deep space, which I will do on the next one because it's very different than what happens.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
All I've got on mine, a lot of cuts were made, so none of that happens. But the thing that was striking to me is the script that I have doesn't elaborate on Prime, like this death sequence, much at all. It doesn't talk about his color change. It doesn't. In fact, it just basically it says it gives the shot direction on Prime. He dies.
Wow.
And that's it.
Wow.
It's like
So they're like,
the other direction entirely. And then
Wow, it is weird. There seems like there is a...
I love how each version that you have of the script is bonkers in a completely different way. I love it.
maybe we fleshed out too much. Oh, maybe we cut too
Hey,
much.
just how about you cut everything out and he just fucking dies? Animators, figure it out.
The other piece that I have here, just on Unicron, that it's not really a deviation so much as kind of detail, and it says that there's rotating satellite dishes on on the surface of Unicron, and they spark with electricity. So maybe that's what's picking up the information from Earth.
Sure.
I guess.
But you dissolve inside Unicron to reveal scenes of Prime's death and the passing of the Matrix on various monitors. Some of the scenes are in slow motion, others are sped up. And the note is, the effect should be eerie. Well, they didn't follow that per se.
No, I think that's a good cut.
It is still kind of eerie, but...
Yeah, I think that's a good cut.
I mean, I'm just imagining if you're the animators trying to... Okay, so this is slow, this is...
Yeah.
We're already putting 16 individual drawings, sets of drawings...
Of the same scene.
Of the same scene.
I feel like that's a Nelson Shin of like... We just simplify this, motherfuckers. Like, we were already doing a lot.
Right. So that's all I've got on that. Anything else on this episode, gentlemen?
Nope.
I think we forgot to do last episode, our favorite moment inside the minute.
Ooh, the iconic moment.
I'll have to do something with that, I guess.
You don't have to do anything.
No, something's going to happen.
I'd like to have like a really dumb, jovial, like, it's time for that iconic moment.
Or don't.
Of course, Caleb will have to produce it.
Caleb has his face in his hands. I'm not crazy about that either.
Okay, well, fuck you guys. Okay, so let's talk about it. What is your iconic moment?
I mean, for me, it's when Prime's head falls to the side. It is gross and over the top and, like, again, animated perfectly, creepily. It doesn't look like he's live motion. It looks very dead. And it's just like, yeah, let's make these kids scarred forever. And it is creepy and weird. That's for me. Caleb?
Mine is where the light is going out of his eyes, and he's got this very this I don't know how the right descriptive word for it, but just how his head there is just so like the way
it has like a real gravity, a real like it's
That's
like
right.
it's in the real world, like taking up space and it feels real.
Yeah, I guess, but I like that one.
I didn't even think about it, but it would be between both of those scenes are worthy contenders. I'll go with the head scene just because it is sort of
Which
like
head
the head.
scene?
I'm sorry. I'll go with the head scene where Prime's head just flops to the side because it's just sort of a moment of finality.
Always siding with Ryan.
We'll take this feud offline.
Okay, guys. Well, next episode, Weight is jettisoned. And nominations are made for a new Decepticon leader. And that's about it. That's all that really fucking happens.
So tune in or don't. Who cares? Prime's dead. Who gives a shit?
I don't know, but this Diet Vince DiCola is delicious.
Gotta get out of this room.
We're going to make sure that goes in. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Follow us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All of them at APODDcast. And also visit our web presence at autopoddecepticast.com. iTunes users, please. Rate and subscribe.
Yes, 5 stars, please. It really does help. And also, again, go to our webpage. I put like some videos up there that doesn't, just things that we talk about in the episode that isn't necessarily specifically Transformers related, but is cool.
All right, everybody. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
It's DiColicious.
DiColicious. There are several connotations.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
I wonder what. I wish I still had it. This is the thing. This is why I keep everything now, because I wish I had all this stuff from my childhood, and I fell into the trap of my stupid parents who were like, "You'll never miss it. You don't even play with it. Look now, Ma."
Yeah.
My mom sold off my entire G.I. Joe collection at a garage sale without checking with me. She wasn't trying to be malicious. I think she just
Just thought, well, he
didn't
doesn't need
she
these.
sold she sold. I had a tank, like a full-size operational tank, a dune buggy.
Like it shot real artillery.
It was pretty impressive. Tank, a dune buggy, the awesome Cobra kind of
That dome
tank,
thing?
the tank thing, their black tank.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Vaguely.
Type Cobra tank, Cobra black tank, G.I. Joe black tank.
Old. Is that it? Oh, that's iconic.
Yeah.
That's badass.
I had that. That's a newer one. I had that. I had Gung Ho. I had a bunch of figures, and I had the base, the G.I. Joe base. Mm-hmm. She sold, and there was a bay I could park my tank in, and the Doom Buggy. Wow. She sold all of it for $15.
Oh man, somebody cleaned up.
That's crazy.
But that was like probably, but that's been a long time ago. That's been like early 90s.
Whenever they weren't worth anything and nobody cared.
Right.
It's like the modern. It's now our generation's version of my mom threw out all my comic books or baseball cards. Yeah. My mom sold all my toys.
There's the tank over here, you can push it. The G.I. Joe tank's down here. That green one.
On the upper right.
That looks cool too.
Yeah.
So my story is a little different from y'all's in that I willfully gave up everything, and I had so much badass shit. First of all, Voltron. I had like the big plastic Voltron. He was like that tall. In fact, I got a picture of me holding him over here. I had the Voltron Castle, a few Robeast guys, but then Transformers. I mean, I had shit like a ton.
Really?
Like G1 Optimus Prime. I had like Blaster in his cassettes, Soundwave in his cassettes. I had a bunch of combiners. I had like the original Predaking, the original, I had the, what are they called? I had the Seacons, I had the Abominus, what were those guys? The Terracons. I don't know. I mean, that's just scratching the surface. I had all the Technobots. I had, I didn't have as many of the old ones. I had Blue Streak, but I didn't have like Prowl, Wheeljack, and those guys. But I gave them all up. I think I don't really remember. I just feel like at a certain point in time, I felt like I became overly self-conscious and wanting to try and be cool. And I thought having toys
was this around when you subscribed to GQ magazine?
I mean, no, this would have been before that even. But and so I got rid of them just so I didn't look like a baby in front of like ladies or dudes or whatever.
I think you gave me almost a whole run of the first Transformers comic book.
I had a pretty good run of it, yeah.
And I think you gave it to me, and it at some point got stolen along with a bunch of my other books.
We have our suspects.
I borrowed all those Transformers comics at one point and read through them all like start to finish.
They're pretty interesting.
Yeah, I liked it.
Luckily, and Mike Henderson, he has a different story in that his mom was nice and never threw anything away, and it was all in a box in his attic forever, and he gave all of that shit to me. All those, like, except for the stuff that's yours, came from him, and I
still think it's hilarious that you've relegated all these.
And I've got a lot more in a box.
Bottom shell.
Yeah, I know. I'm in a process of rejiggering.
I don't remember this guy.
That's new. I just got it last week. And that monster bot up on the left, the kind of goofy beaver looking one. Hey guys. I don't know if you remember those guys. I think in the G1 form they were the Spark bots or something like that.
Oh
maybe.
yeah.
I think
I had this one.
And were they smaller than that?
Oh yeah, way smaller. And then those two guys there are from a Dreamwave series called The War Within, which was a reinterpretation of the Cybertronian days. So
they're pretty cool Megatron.
Oh man, that figure is badass. That Megatron looks very cool. What do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna make a drink real quick. You want to fuck?
Will you do me a huge favor before you leave today?
Blow you?